Alright, this was a request from one of my Patreon members, Tyreek. He asked me to review 2021's movie, Outside the Wire, starring Anthony Mackie. And since he's paying for my services, like I said, I get to it immediately, put it up as soon as possible. And if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, you're getting this in March. But if you're watching this right now, you're getting it on my Patreon, you're getting it in January. So how about you? Look at you. And by the way, thank you, Tyreek, for this request. Now, let me go ahead and jump into this first thoughts of it. I know I'm kind of changing the game a little bit because I'm doing first thoughts already. Yeah, because it's my opener. I can do what I want. My world. Anyway, yeah, Anthony Mackie, he brings it in this movie. And in fact, like, his charm and delivery is great as his character, but does he really save the movie? Does he give the movie the quality pop it needs? Does he make it glow? Well, I'm gonna talk about that on this episode of Movie Breakdowns. What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Movie Breakdowns. I'm your host, Ali Zaka. What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Movie Breakdowns. I'm your host, Ali Zaka. What is Movie Breakdowns? Movie review series where we look at new and old movies, give them a grade A through F. Plus and minuses do count. And if there's a movie you want me to review, let me know. Please put in the comment section below, and I get to it as best I can. I also have a Patreon, Patreon/Ali Zaka. And on this Patreon, if you ask me to do a review, I get to it immediately because you're paying for my services. Also, there's other things like trailer reaction, trailer reviews, and other thoughts on movies. Now, let's go ahead and get into today's review. It's 2021's Outside the Wire. This movie just came out on January 15th. And what is it about? It's about a drone pilot who gets sent to a war zone and he has to partner up with an android to stop a nuclear war. That is the synopsis of it. That is it. If you watch the trailer, you're going to get a drone pilot getting sent to a war zone, teaming up with an android, and they have to learn to trust each other. So it's like a buddy cop military movie kind of situation. And it's all about trust and like, hey, do you trust me? Do you trust me? Kind of situation in the trailer. That's what it's about in the trailer, because you see Anthony Mackie in his android state, and you see that Harp, his main character, is a regular, human, and he's like, I gotta work with an android, how this gonna work out? So that's what this movie is about. And as far as non-spoilers, and this first half of this video is gonna be non-spoilers. The second half is gonna be all spoilers, just going in. But this first half is non-spoilers. And the idea of that, the idea of, the android and the human being working with each other is neat. Like the idea of the robot and the human versus the machine kind of thing, and can it coexist kind of thing. I actually like that idea, and the drone pilot getting sent to the war zone. Also, I like the idea of that to show like, okay, this kid he's not as cold, calculated person. He can be human and he can see what war is like and what the battlefield is like and how it changed lives, because he never really experienced that. I get that from the main character Harp, and I get the Leo connection, but what they deliver on the screen, not as much. Harp's main storyline, who is the main character, Leo's kind of like the side character, but the Harp main storyline, it's told from beginning to end. You see it from beginning to end, but I never felt like at the end of the movie that he ever grow. I never felt like when things are all said and done and the clouds, settle, that Harp get better at the end of the movie. I don't think so, in my opinion. You have to watch it for yourself to really see, but I just don't feel like he really grew and got better as a person. I feel like he's the same, and maybe there's some different things where he might have grown, but there's like no really big realization. Like he knew what was happening at the beginning of the movie. He knew the decision he had to make. It was a tough decision. He had to live with that. But then when he gets put in a situation and the same decision is happening, he's like, okay, all right. But that mindset, like, it never really was like, he never really had that moment where it's like, we have to like stop this. Like, it was different scenario. I don't know, I didn't feel like he really grasped the meaning of everything. Like, he got to see it, which was shocking and scary, but it never really showed, like, he never really came to grips at the end of the movie, like, the decision he made, he felt like it wasn't the right decision. I feel like he never really had that change. And matter of fact, it gets reinforced when Leo, who his partner is, kind of tells him the stuff he had done in the movie. It's like, you're not really wrong. Which is also like, okay, what is this then? What are we learning here? And as far as like a lot of scenes go, the story sets up, but every time there was like a low in action, there was always a different exposition dump. And there was a scene where I literally felt like it was just purely exposition dump, and that was it. And exposition is good, but it's only works when it really moves the story instead of like things that were just, you know, characters going back and forth and the audience are learning more stuff but not really affecting the storyline. There's certain stuff like that in this movie that happens, and also scenes were just like, okay, I guess we're just doing it so the audience can see what's going on. But other than that, CGI wise, this movie is 2021, but it's a Netflix movie, so CGI you can't really hold to it. They didn't even put a budget out there on Netflix, so I went to go look at it, so I couldn't really find it. So I can't really hold CGI accountable to this movie. It's more about the storyline more than anything, because the acting is solid. The acting is solid. The storyline is what I'm really like looking into as far as grading this review, because there are some plot holes. You're gonna watch this movie and wonder, what happens to this? What happens to this? What happens to that? What's going on here? Okay, all right, sure. But I'll talk more about that in my spoiler review. Now, let's go ahead and get into the cast. Anthony Mackie as Leo. Great. Anthony Mackie is great. He is charming. He is like persuasive. He is everything that you think a cool character should be, and he delivers it. He delivers it pretty well. Matter of fact, you almost think he's a guy that kind of like a leader in the military, but he's not. His AI, his android, like his robotics is not really that of a high-ranking officer. He's just a different kind of soldier. And I'm gonna talk about a little thing in the spoiler review about him that for his storyline that's kind of like, okay, but they didn't really pull it out enough. But Anthony Mackie as Leo, I thought he was done really well as far as like actor, like portraying that character. Storyline could be a little bit better, but as far as the actor Anthony Mackie being Leo and giving Leo a character and giving him a little more of a life, I thought he did a great job there. And then Damson Idris as Lieutenant Thomas Hart. He is the main character. I thought his acting was great. I didn't think any issues with him. Matter of fact, when he opened the movie, the way he did certain things where his reactions to certain events was like, well, that seems odd. And then it plays it like, oh, okay. And then at the end of the movie where his reactions changed a little bit, but I felt like he was the same exact energy he had at the end of the movie, he had at the beginning of the movie. I don't really feel like it really changed for him as far as energy and his mentality. Just a few different things. Like the idea of war and the conflict of war definitely woke him up. He definitely sees like what it's like to be on the battlefield, what it's like to be on the battleground, and the results of the things he was doing as a drone pilot. But at the same time, he's still like, we have to follow military code. We have to do this. We have to do that. And you're just like, okay. And then when Leo hits him with his same mentality to begin the movie, he was like, that's way worse than what I did. Which is not really we gotta stop, you know. It's a few over the many. And that mentality they both had was almost like Leo looked at Harp and said, this is the same thing you was doing, and Harp was like, no, it is not. But yeah, that's Harp. I think Damson Idris did a good job playing Harp. I'm not gonna lie. The acting in this movie is solid. I never had a problem with anybody's acting at all. And then of course Emily Beecham, who played Sophia, she's there for a cup of tea, I feel like, a cup of coffee, but she did okay when she was there. And then Michael Kelly as Urquhart. when he was there, he also did okay. Michael Kelly plays almost the same character. Every movie I watched him in, he's been that same character. He was in Man of Steel. He's in here in this movie as well. And other thoughts before I jump really into the spoiler section. The music is fine. Didn't really like stand out. Like I already said, CGI, I can't really grade the CGI because the movie it's a Netflix movie. There's no budget to it. So as far as a Netflix movie, it's okay. It's cool. Setting and backdrop, I thought the setting and backdrop was brilliant. Like, you know exactly what's going on. You know exactly what location they're in. You can see what's happening. You can see them moving through place, and you can follow the story. Like, you can definitely see what's going on here. So that wasn't an issue. Is this a Friday night movie? Not really. No. Grading time. I'm gonna grade the movie Outside the Wire from 2021 a C-. It's a C-. The story is what really gets it for me, because everything else, like the acting is great, and the acting's great. Yeah, the acting's great. The set pieces is okay, but the story just doesn't really hold up for me. It's certain things that happen that makes me question, why is this going on? Why is it going on? Why is he getting punished for this when somebody else did the same exact thing and they're doing the same exact thing at the end of the movie? It just really like, okay guys, alright, what's going on here? So the story is kind of one thing that doesn't hold up, and that's the only thing I can really judge this movie off of. So C- as far as story. Oh, one note before I jump into the spoiler section is that it's kind of neat seeing a movie with two African American or black leads that's not about race or about being the first or something sad and tragic happening to their backstory. Like, it's literally just two people in a movie that can literally, you can swap out the cast with anybody and it'll still work. So I don't think Leo would have worked with him. Maybe Will Smith could have done Leo, or somebody who's really charismatic, like The Rock, Will Smith. I don't know. Maybe Robert Downey Jr. I think they really could have done Leo right, but Anthony Mackie does bring a certain charming character to Leo, so toss off to him. But yeah, it was kind of cool seeing that. And also the weird flex of this movie, which I'm going to get into spoilers. Guys. So this movie is a C-. And if you're not going to watch the rest of this video, that's fine. Thank you guys so much. Love y'all. See you on the next episodes. Spoilers, guys, are in 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's not get into the spoiler section of this video. And stuff I really want to talk about as far as this main storyline goes. So Harp gets sent to the war zone because instead of waiting to the officer to give the command of, destroying this truck that, like, it was like an armored truck that had like a gun, like a Gatling gun in it, that's gonna like just destroy the whole rest of the troops. He's flying a drone above a battlefield, and he sees that 2 people are injured and they're down. They're in the line of fire, and the rest of the soldiers can't get out there and save them. And there's 40 of them. So Harp decides to save 38 of the 40 by dropping this drone down on this armored truck and blows up the truck. So he saved 38 out of the 40. However, he went against chain of command because it was like, we didn't give you that order. Yes, you might have saved 38 people, but you should let the commander out there get his cue on whether or not the 38 people should survive versus the 40. Like, you should give them the opportunity to save the 2 people. You didn't give them that opportunity, so you're going to the war zone to figure out how it feels like to be in the war zone. And he goes to the war zone, he meets Leo, and Leo's like, do you trust me? Do you trust me? All this stuff. Like, okay, cool. One thought, if Leo's such a high-ranked AI and he knows how to morph and adapt, and the reason why he's the way he looks because he's charming and his feature, which is a weird flex, he literally says it like, yeah, my looks is why I'm this design. Weird flex, but okay. Why is there another officer with him? Why is there another officer with Harp, Leo? Like, if they know that, like, okay, we can't really, Leo shouldn't really go off range and shouldn't really get out of hand, but you put a brand new guy who's first time on the field with this machine who can manipulate and really smart and learn and think and calculate. Why didn't they do that? Like, why didn't you put like a third officer or another person of high rank with the prototype, one and only high-ranking, smart, intellectual AI? That way, two people can bounce off against the AI. The AI decides to go AWOL or go off the map or go rogue, which he does. That's one of the plot twists in this movie. Leo turns rogue for no apparent reason, and you're watching it like, why is he going bad? And there's two scenes that put the hint to it. The first scene is that Leo sees people abusing these robots. So in this future of this movie, there's robots around, and these robots are kind of like do battle for the soldiers. When the soldier is picking on the robot, Anthony Mackie snaps. Leo snaps and goes off on these soldiers, and they're like, "Oh, we're sorry, man. We didn't really want to beat up the machine." So he didn't want other prototypes getting made or other types of AI getting made so they can just get abused by humans. I guess that's what he was going for. And then the second scene was towards the end of the movie where he said, "I'm doing this because I want them to end the operation. I want them to end the service." You know, you could have just told the government, like, "Hey, I'm gonna snap, I'm gonna destroy some buildings, destroy some people, not people, but destroy some buildings, make something that doesn't have people in it, and say, like, I'm going AWOL." All you gotta do as a robot is not follow the chain of commands, and they will take you out like that. The government would not hesitate. So why did he like, "I'm gonna just try to blow up the United States"? And that was what I was talking about in my review, where it's like the few versus the many. So Anthony Mackie was going to send a missile when he turns bad at the end of the movie. He was going to send a missile to the United States to blow up New York City. And he was like, "I'm going to sacrifice $1 million to save 100 mil or 300 mil. And he told Harp, "You did the same exact thing." And Harp was like, "No, 2 versus 38 is not 1 million versus 100 million, like 300 million. What are you talking about?" And that's why I mentioned, I was like, Harp never really learned his lesson. He never really learned the fact that, like, you shouldn't have go above your chain of command. You shouldn't have, because even at the end of the movie, he still did things he wanted to do. He wanted to go chase down Leo to stop him to save the world. But, and he guess he got the order to do so. He got the trust of his commanding officers versus just doing it on his own. But a lot of stuff he did throughout this movie was kind of like on his own. He never really had somebody above him. Leo's like, "Do you, man. Here, follow my rules, but do you." Okay. And so when Leo flips the script on him at the end of the movie and said, "I'm just doing the same exact thing you're doing," he was like, "No, that's not the same exact thing. 2 versus 1 million is not the same exact thing." And I'm just like, why did they try to use that technique on him like that? Why you just say, "I did the same thing you're doing," kind of call? Like, no, that's not how it works. No. But yeah, that's one of the things I was like, okay, it doesn't make any sense. Like, why are you trying to use that call? Like, the script there, that just didn't work. Like, Leo going bad was unnecessary. You didn't need him to go AWOL. And what reason why nobody was with Leo so they can follow him and track him and keep their eye on him? Because they had the tracker in him so they can see where he's at all times, but he doing co-op stuff. He can go in cooperative and be like, I guess not underneath, but do things that are kind of secretive to everybody else. And his whole identity is secret to the rest of the military. So only a few select officers know where he is, know what he's doing. And there was a scene where Hart was like, "I need missiles. We have the bad guy in this location." There's a Russian named Victor Cassius, what's his name? Victor Koval, sorry. Victor Koval. He is like the main bad guy they're trying to chase down. He doesn't really play a part in the movie, really, just his name mostly, and he has like one scene where Anthony Mackie whooped his butt. But Victor has this bank with these missile codes are at, and the US military decides to shoot a drone at the bank. And Hart was like, "There are people down here," and they're like, "It's collateral. It's whatever. Get out the way." But that's the same thing that Hart did. And you're like, well, Hart is on U.S. soldiers versus the number of humans that's on the ground at the bank. And there's a scene where they're like, "I got him," which would be like Urquhart was like, "I got Leo," because they want to make sure Leo was destroyed, but apparently they thought they got Koval. It was weird. They like the way that's set up. And also a lot of stuff in this movie that didn't really agree with me was like a lot of exposition dump. Like there's a scene where Leo and Harper are talking about Harp's fiance and talking about how cute she is and stuff like that, and they're making a little joke about it, but it doesn't really weigh anything. Like Harp never really felt like he was doing this for his wife, felt like he was trying to get back to his wife. No, he was just like, I'm following this mission, I want to see the mission to the end. And at the end of the movie, when Leo's like, go back to your wife, he's like, no, we gotta finish this. So that didn't really play a part on it, but they tried to throw that in there. And as far as Harp's development, I really felt like he still showed emotion. You know, he took the emotion out of it to make the decision early in the movie. He still showed emotion, even at the very end. Like when he got turned to, he was getting like on trial for his decision, he had emotions. Like, I'm saving a bunch of people and this and that, but he kept getting checked. And then towards the end, matter of fact, when he talked to Leo, he's also flipping out. And then at the end of the movie, he's showing emotions. And he had emotions at the beginning of the movie. It's just like in that moment, he was like, I gotta cut myself off. I guess you can say he has some growth there because he's cutting himself off when he's in the battlefield, but then when he's actually in the battlefield or on the ground, his emotions taking over. And as far as Harp experiencing everything, I thought that was kind of neat. Thought it was neat to see him like go through the sights and sounds and seeing the kids. That was kind of neat. I give it props for that. So storyline wise, it's a C-. Emily Beecham, who plays Sophia, she's like a regular person, an informant, but then she becomes a military resistance leader trying to fight back against the Russians. And she's only shows up at the end of the movie to kind of show like exposition dump and tell Harp things he didn't really need to know. Like, yeah, Leo's gonna go blow up the country and blow up the United States, and he's going AWOL. He's doing this on his own accord. And you're just like, why? Why would he go AWOL? Like, what decision? He was like, United States is bad, we got to end all war. But what decision was that made? Like, I don't know. He was programmed by the United States to outthink his AI system. I don't know. It just seemed weird at that point. I was like, they just do this in here to decide how, we got a twist. But yeah, that was it. Those are a few things I really want to talk about, get off my chest as far as this movie, because those things are the ones that like gave it a C- grade. Storyline wise, like the main storyline of Harp putting on the battlefield and experiencing main battle issues and seeing like the ground view of things, I thought was kind of neat. Him trying to save the people from the bank and realize he can't save everybody, I thought that was kind of neat. And this movie does have gunshots and blood in it. Like, you will see people get shot, you will see people blow their heads off. Like, it's one of those movies, but I like that viewpoint from it. That was kind of, like I said, I thought it was kind of neat. And the actors did a great job. But all the other stuff, like at the end of the movie, what happened to the resistance leader? He says he goes home, so he's just walking away or driving away, but the movie cuts off like that, so you don't know what happens next. Leo dies because Harp forgot to take him out, but that connection, or they never really had that brother-to-brother moment connection, or like you saw there was actual a team. It was just like, Harp was like, I don't trust you this whole time, and now you gave it a reason not to trust you. Yeah. So, but Anthony Mackie, as far as like being a badass in this movie, pretty dope. This man like jumping over stuff, he jump kicking, throwing poles. He literally took one dude's arm and shot like other people with the dude's arm and like flipped him over. It was kind of neat. His acting and like in the character Leo, I can believe him as an AI and think like, this dude is such a badass. You know, some of it was like that came out of left field, but he's a robot. It makes sense. Kind of like a black Terminator, I felt. And not like Arnold Schwarzenegger one. It's the T-2000, the T-3000, the second one in Terminator 2. That one. That's how smooth he was moving. But yeah, that's my review of Outside the Wire, guys. It's a C-. If you've seen Outside the Wire, what do you think? Please put in the comment section below. And thank you guys for watching this episode of Movie Breakdowns. See you next time, and keep being awesome. Thank you guys for watching this episode. I really appreciate it. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Also, you want to see what else I'm doing in my normal life and other things that's going on, please follow me on Instagram at Ali_Zaka. I'll put it right here around my face. Yep, right there. Also, if you want more episodes of Movie Breakdowns or Grind Towards Success or whatever it is I'm doing on YouTube, you know what? Follow my page right here, like I said before, the little comment thing right there, And then you can watch the last episode of Movie Breakdowns right here, and watch the last episode of Grind Towards Success right there. Other than that, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate y'all. See y'all next time, and keep being awesome.